How's it going, folks? This is Mike, Gray 1951, and I'm back to do episode 3 of Genre Files and say hello to everybody who's participating. Seems like we have a growing number of people every time. And I'm a little bit late getting this done. We're supposed to do this on Friday, and it is now after midnight, so it's already Saturday, but I was late, sorry. But I did want to get this in. Now, you're seeing a slightly different angle of my dining room where I make a lot of my videos. Usually I'm pointing the camera in that direction into the living room, and I'm doing this because I've been moving a lot of stuff around my house from room to room in the last couple of days, and my always chaotic house is about 3 times as chaotic as usual. So I tried to find a spot where you can't see as much mess as some other spots. So the bookshelves behind me were in my computer room, and I took them out of there, and I've been trying to organize the books, and I just got tired, so I just kind of left everything the way it is. On this side behind me, you see a grandfather clock, or rather the shell of a grandfather clock that hasn't worked in about 10 years, at least 10 years. Someday I'll do a video and explain to you why I still keep it. If anybody would like to buy an inexpensive grandfather clock, just let me know. I've had this for 28 years, and I've had it repaired, I think 3 different times, and it stopped again. I just said, that's it, I'm done. But I never got rid of it. I really need to either get it repaired or sold. So anyway, I don't know why I'm battling. All right, so the genre for this week is non-Disney animation, okay? Non-Disney animation. This was very easy for me because I looked for my collection. I only have 1 animated film. It's not exactly something that I seek out to collect. So here it is. My film is called Waking Life. It's a film directed by Richard Linklater in 2001. And this is... wow, I don't know what to say about this. It is a very beautiful and very unusual film. Now, it's interesting how I came across this. About 2 years ago, I went to the local theater to see another film, the name of which escapes me now, but it was only playing for 1 or 2 nights. I wanted to make sure I caught it. Well, it turns out that I had my schedule mixed up. When I bought my ticket and didn't even look at the ticket to see what the name of the film that I was watching, because I thought I had the right one. And I got in there, and this cartoon started. And I thought, oh, great, I don't want to see this. But I decided to sit there for about, 5 minutes to see what it was about. And it didn't take long. I got completely caught up in it. I'm so glad that I stayed. It's a beautiful movie. This is a film that was done in a process called Rotoscoping, which I don't know very much about. But it's something that goes all the way back to the silent era, invented by a man named Fleischer. What they do is they have a live action film, people, animals, whatever, and then they project the film onto, or how they used to do it, they project the film onto a plate of frosted glass, and then the artist will draw animation over the living figures, okay? Well, now, of course, in the modern era, it's all done in computers, but they still call it rotoscoping. Now, I saw another film by Richard Linklater that he made in 2006, a film called A Scanner Darkly, which starred, it had Robert Downey Jr. and Keanu Reeves. And it was a very fascinating film up to a point, but I really didn't enjoy it that much, and I ended up giving it away. But this one is absolutely gorgeous. This is not in any way a kid's movie or a comedy, although there's nothing in this that a kid wouldn't appreciate probably, except for one kind of bad language in one sequence. But it has to do with a young man who he keeps waking up. He thinks he's waking up out of a dream, and then he finds out that he's still dreaming. And this young man is kind of wandering through a city and through the countryside, encountering different people who talk to him about philosophy, about existentialism, about the nature of life and the nature of death, the nature of being awake, the nature of being in dreams, the nature of being alive. And he never really knows, well, he begins to know toward the middle of the film that he is not waking up. He is always waking up into another dream, right? And it's basically just a lot of people talking, having conversation, having very intellectual conversation, which I admit I'm not that smart, so it's way over my head. But it's fascinating to listen to. And here's some of the quotes. For example, there's a quote on the back of the DVD that kind of gives you the essence of the plot, if you want to call this a plot, I don't know. Are we sleepwalking through our waking state, or are we wake-walking through our dreams? Okay? And there's a scene where the young man is walking through town, and he's walking next to a guy that I guess it's supposed to be somebody he knows, or maybe just he knows in a dream. And the guy is talking about alienation and all that sort of thing, at the same time where he's carrying a can of gasoline, right, that he just filled up at a gasoline pump. And they keep walking until they reach a point where the guy just sits down, and he covers himself with gasoline, and he says, "Let my own lack of a voice be heard." And he lights a match, and he sets himself on fire. Okay? And then another quote from someone else is, "Our waking life is someone else's memories." Okay? And then one of the most fascinating people, the young guy is walking through a railroad yard, and a guy jumps off a railroad car and says, "Hey, are you a dreamer?" And the guy says, "Yeah." He says, "Well, I'm having trouble finding other dreamers. There aren't that many around anymore." And he says, "Things have been tough lately for dreamers. They say dreaming is dead. Nobody does it anymore. It's been removed from our language. Nobody teaches it, so nobody knows it exists." And I don't know. It's hard to express what this is about. There's no plot. It doesn't necessarily have a linear fashion to it, or any. Well, it has a lot of meaning, certainly, because these are very important things that people should think about. And who in the world thinks about, are we walking around in a dream? Are we really alive? Are we only here because someone else is imagining us? Okay? And the final quote, one guy says, "As one realizes that one is a dream figure in someone else's dream, that is self-awareness." Okay? So I guess that gives you maybe a rough idea of what waking life is all about. Highly recommended. This reminds me of a film I saw many, many years ago. I believe it was in the 1980s. A film called My Dinner with Andre. I think it was directed by Louis Malle. I could be wrong about that. But there were just two men, two very intellectual men. One is Wallace Shawn, the actor. Here goes the clock. And the other is a man named Andre Gregory. And they were just having dinner. And while they were eating, they were talking and exchanging ideas about life and love and all sorts of things. And it sounds like it would be the most excruciatingly boring thing you could ever watch, but it was fascinating. And one of the extra features on this package is they show some of the live action sequences that were done before they were made into animation. And personally, I could have sat down and watched just a whole film of the real people talking to each other, walking around town. I think the animation is beautiful. It adds a lot to it. Certainly it adds a lot of artistic, impression to it. But, I think I could have just enjoyed the real people in the conversation. So, all right, I guess that's all I can say. Anyway, Waking Life, please check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm very interested now in the films of Richard Linklater. I haven't seen most of his stuff. I've just seen A Scanner Darkly, and I've seen this. And now I would very much like to see, Boyhood and Slacker, because I was reading about it. And also Dazed and Confused. I've never seen that either. So, yeah, I'm very interested now in this guy's work. So, another learning experience for me, who doesn't have that much knowledge and that much connection to modern day film directors, but this is something else I'm going to research. Okay. Now I don't know what we're doing next week. I forgot to look at the list, and I haven't watched anybody else's videos yet. But next weekend I will be away on vacation. I'll be in Chicago at a Star Trek convention, so I may not be able to do next week's video until later. Maybe I'll do it a couple of days before, so that way I'll make sure I get it up. But So just want to let you know about that. But anyway, all right. Thank you for watching. And okay, good night.